I must be having some senior moments because I got the bed all ready to plant the cucumbers in, excuse me, and I went out into the greenhouse to get them, and they're not there. And I hunted through every single plant that I have planted in that place, and they're not there. And so I looked into the seed box for under C for cucumbers, and those seed packs are still there, and they are completely full of seeds. Apparently, I just skipped right over the top of them. So, knowing how late in the season it is, I decided I had to run down to the nursery. And so I went and I bought 2 different kinds of cucumbers. Straight 8s, which are mostly for eating, slicing, whatever. And the others, I think, are burpless, and they will do if I decide I want to make relish or pickles or something. But anyway, I just wanted to show you where they're at and what we're doing, and I'll show you how to plant them in just a second. All right, so I'm going to plant the cucumbers in one of the grow beds that has a trellis over the top of it. Now, when I get to the end of the video and I show you them all planted in their beds, I want you to know that, no, the trellis is not up yet. The frame for the trellis is, but not the net that goes over the trellis. So I wanted to get these planted today, and then I'll put the net over it. Now, when you are putting cucumbers in a place that you don't want them to just trail all over the ground, that you want them to go up either a trellis or a cattle panel or a teepee, whatever you've planned on having them climb, they will climb on their own. It's just that you kind of have to encourage them. So when I plant these cucumbers to begin with, you're going to notice that I'm going to plant them really, really close to the side. That's because I want them to be able to get to that trellis fairly easily, and so it's not so hard on their base. Now you're also going to notice that these cucumbers are pretty leggy. They've been in the greenhouse down in the nursery for a while, and so they need to be buried really deep. They're kind of like tomatoes in that you can bury them deep and they'll just continue to make roots up that stem. So also you're going to notice that there's some big long plants in the middle of this bed, and those are going to be Brussels sprouts, and I'm going to have Brussels sprout plants right up the middle of this grow box, and that is because I don't want to waste that property. I don't want to waste it. And as long as I keep these cucumbers and the Brussels sprouts fed really well, they'll do great together. But here we go. Let's put them in the ground. All right, I have positioned the cucumbers. You can see them over there. There are going to be about 2 of them on each side of that trellis, and that should give them plenty of room to grow and expand and move around. Those over there are the straight 8s, and I'm putting the burpless ones over on this side. These are a more compact cucumber. They won't grow quite as big and tall as those straight 8s will. But last year, if you'll notice that trellis right there, now it is on 6-foot T-posts, and also it goes clear down to the ground. So my cucumbers climbed clear up to the top of that, which is probably about, I don't know, 4 feet. And they were not compact. So these others should do just fine. And then if you notice, these are the Brussels sprouts I was talking about. And see how tall they are? They're ready to start going. And I'll also do a video on Brussels sprouts. But I've already put the amenities into my bed. I put some compost in there to supplement the dirt that was already in there. And then I put that soil activator as well as a fertilizer. Now you'll notice I'm going to dig these pretty deep because look at how leggy these puppies are. Well, they're not puppies, but see how leggy they are? And so all of that needs to be down in the ground. And then again, you'll notice that I'm going to put them really, really close to the side of the grow box. Now, there we go. See how deep that is? It's every bit the depth of that shovel. I think I'll go just a little bit deeper. Man, I got all kinds of... Last year when I put a tarp over the garden after it started freezing, I had some really bad winds, and it just tore that tarp to shreds. And even though I've moved the tarp and I've taken it out of here, I'm still finding pieces of that, just the shreds of it. All right, so now I'm going to have to, my camera girl had to go home with her mom, and I think she had to clean her bedroom. I'm not sure, but she's going to be back this afternoon because she wants to help put those strawberries in the garden. And I'm under threat of violence if I do it myself and don't wait for her. All right, so here we go. The roots on these are pretty good. I'm not going to separate them very much because I don't think that they're too bound. And then I'm going to put those down in the hole and then just hold up the sides of that cucumber and then just fill it in. And if you'll notice, there's quite an area around it. That's what I want. I want there to be loose dirt here so that those roots can just get really good start in the dirt, in the ground. And I can take this and kind of, there we go, kind of hump it around them, put a little bit of a, heavens, I don't even know what to call it, but I can hump them around so that they're, see, now we don't have those big longy, except for that one. That one's kind of a big longy. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and plant the other 7 that need to be planted, and then I'll get right back to you. All right, so I've planted the cucumbers up this side right here and down on this side. Oops, can't see that. There you go. And then I went ahead and put the Brussels sprouts right down the middle. And I'll give these a good long drink, and then maybe later in the week after I get all the trellises, the nets on the trellises, and I've got these guys climbing, then I'll do another video. But this is what we do with cucumbers. And a couple of things you need to keep in mind. So, oh yeah, it's a sunny day. One of the things you need to keep in mind, the more, if you keep monitoring your cucumbers and you pick them as soon as they're ready, then they'll keep producing all summer. And the thing about cucumbers, when you put them on a trellis, it's easier to see when the fruit starts hanging down, because if you put them and just let them go in the ground, then you got to dig underneath them to look for your fruit and stuff. But just keep picking them, because then it'll increase your yield and you'll be a lot happier. So I'm going to get started on probably peppers or tomatoes. I don't know, one of the two, but I have to do peppers. I got to do tomatoes today because I told Paige I would show her how to plant tomatoes. So we'll see in a little bit.